What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. So, one of the biggest lies that was being pushed by the media was that LeBron James, wherever he would be signed, would be willing to be the third or fourth option. And that's a very misleading statement because while others may score more than LeBron at this stage of his career, one thing that will be a constant is that his ego will not allow him to play behind certain players. He could marginally accept playing behind Luka Doncic, but his ego will not allow him to play behind a guy who essentially was an NBA walk-on in Austin Reeves, undrafted player. He lied to Kawhi Leonard in 2019, reportedly saying this will all be yours, the Lakers, in 2 or 3 years, when that was 2019. In 2026, he was grudgingly having to accept playing third option behind Luka and Austin Reeves then. The media, or the love media, were already pushing for LeBron to have the ball in his hands more than Giannis and Bam if he went to Miami. And now it's being found out that, hey, he's going to spend a significant amount of time playing point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, on offense. He's not going to be defending the points. He's just going to be playing point for a large period of time. And one of the things you heard me say is the guy who I think is going to be the most affected by this whole situation is going to be VJ Edgecomb. VJ Edgecomb is a guy that needs the ball in his hands to score, right? And he, as a rookie, averaged 16 points a game for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I don't see him averaging 16 points a game playing with LeBron James. I said he might average goddamn 8 to 10. And this is a guy that's going into his second year and needs to make a name for himself as far as being a top 3 rookie. When you look at the rookie of the year, he was behind only what's his name? Knipple in Charlotte, and old boy in Dallas. Names eluding, I can't remember the names for some reason. But anyway, that's gonna be cut in half, because there's always a guy playing with LeBron James whose stats are going to be affected terribly. And in this situation, it's going to be VJ Edgecomb.
Edgecombe, you now got to guard the number one best guard. Like every night, that's your responsibility. So, you know, that's going to require some sacrifice. That's going to require some buy-in from a young fella. Young fella had a great rookie year. He coming back into his second year thinking like, yo, this is my chance to take that jump. He kind of the fifth option. You know, I think when you look at the biggest losers in this situation, it's arguably VJ Edgecombe. If I'm VJ Edgecombe's agent, I'm not sure I'm happy with the summer that the 76ers have had. If I'm just VJ Edgecombe's agent, because this could affect a lot for VJ Edgecombe. Like, you go from being sometimes the second option when Embiid was out to sometimes being the fifth option. It's a big, big, big difference. I don't know if y'all understand like how big of a difference that is. So I think the person who's going to have to figure the most out is VJ Edgecombe. He's still aspiring. He still want to be great. He still want to be an all-star. This ain't really set up for him to do that. So he's going to have some figuring out to do. And I think this team is going to have some figuring out to do. It's not just like, all right, everything's good as go. No, you got to make some stuff work. You got to move some stuff around. You're going to have to figure some stuff out. You're going to have to put a good system into place. So, love the moves. Love the roster. Sometimes so much talent and so many pieces can be a problem. You have to figure it all out. But needless to say, I don't think it's that much talent. But they do have some figuring out to do. I think they definitely got some figuring out to do. We'll see.
Tyrese Maxey is clutch, so he's good. He's good. You know what I'm saying? If he does take a bit of a sacrifice stat-wise, Maxey, he's not going to average 28. He might average 24. But, hey, he's going to get more exposure playing with LeBron James now that the Philadelphia 76ers going to be the number one team talked about on ESPN and FS1. Just by playing on this team with LeBron, he's going to make more money than he ever did before if he was just averaging 30 on a bad team. So he's good. Jaylen Brown is, he's going to have his haters, right? And you're going to have people in the media that's going to point out, oh, Jaylen Brown, why hasn't he done this or other? So, Jaylen is, he's going to take a bit of a hit if things don't go well. But the guy who's really going to take the biggest career hit, like he said, is VJ Edgecombe. I agree with Jerry on this one. Like I said, you were third in Rookie of the Year voting behind, why am I blanking on his name? Cooper Flag. Damn. For some reason I was saying Colin in my head. But that's not right. Yeah, but you were behind Cooper Flag and Carlton Knipple, whatever the fuck his name is. And averaging 16 points a game. So this was the year that you could have taken the leap to potentially being an all-star, averaging 20-something points a game. Especially if it was combined with team success. Now you're going to be a guy who offensively is going to be maybe fourth option, because people got to remember that they acquired Jaylen Brown. So on the nights when Joel Embiid was hurt, like he said, VJ Edgecombe was sometimes the second option. Career high, 38 points. Almost scored 40 points in the game this past year. That ain't happening this year, barring supreme injury issues. And not only that, he's going to have to guard, more than likely, he's going to have to put in that grunt work and have to guard the most talented offensive players on every on every opposing team they play this year. Which, of course, as we all know, the energy that you have to expend playing defense tends to take away from your offense, at least your efficiency. So I can already picture in my head LeBron yelling at this dude for not picking up a defensive assignment that he's supposed to have. I can already see it. VJ Edgecombe is going to be the whipping boy. He's not established yet. Jaylen Brown is an MVP caliber player. Joel Embiid, former MVP. Tyrese Maxey, an all-star, and with clutch. VJ Edgecombe's the guy that's on the outside looking in. And this is why I've been looking at. See, the only thing that will fuck this up is that Clay doesn't like LeBron. But I was looking at Bob Myers, and I was looking at the Dallas Mavericks. Clay is just languishing out there. Clay would be a perfect fit for a LeBron team as a guy that doesn't need the basketball and can catch and shoot, right? But the problem is, them niggas don't like each other. That's why he didn't go to L.A. when, he had the opportunity, because he don't like LeBron James. So unless he's able, somehow that's to be worked out, and he think maybe he has more leverage because Bob Myers, at least for right now, is running things. And there's that connection, with Golden State and Bob Myers back in the day. If that's not the case, I don't know, because I just don't see VJ Edgecombe enjoying playing with LeBron, because like I said, his career is going to take a big hit, because we know there's always one guy on that team when LeBron's there, he just all of a sudden turns to a scrub. We saw it with Russell Westbrook. We saw it to an extent with Kevin Love. We saw it with Chris Bosh. It's always that one guy. Anton Jameson. People say, oh, he was a bum. He was a scrub by the time he played with LeBron. But the year before, in the playoffs, he averaged 32-11 against LeBron and the Cavaliers when he was with the Wizards. But anyway, yeah, man. That's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.
Too raw for TV.